Egypt, the land of the Nile, a place where the golden sun paints the horizon in deep amber, and history breathes through ancient stones. From Abraham to Moses, the Bible records Egypt as a stage where God's plans unfolded in dramatic fashion. But beyond the miracles and the plagues, one question lingers in our minds. What did these Egyptians actually look like? Were they dark-skinned Africans, lighter-toned Middle Easterners, or something in between? And what secrets do their monuments, like the mysterious Sphinx, hold about their identity? In the Bible, Egypt is called Mizraim in Hebrew, named after one of Ham's sons as recorded in Genesis 10:6. Ham's descendants spread into Africa, and Mizraim's people became the Egyptians. This alone places their ancestry firmly within Africa's lineage. Geographically, Egypt sits in North Africa, hugging the Nile, a river that gave life to both people and empire. The ancient Egyptians depicted themselves in their own art, men with reddish-brown skin, women in lighter brown or golden tones. This was not random. It was both a reflection of real skin tones and a stylistic tradition. In Ezekiel 30:4-5, Egypt is listed alongside Kush, modern-day Sudan and Ethiopia, both regions known for deep brown and black skin. Joseph's story in Genesis 42 is telling. His own brothers didn't recognize him in Egypt, even when standing face to face. His Egyptian appearance, clothing, and grooming made him indistinguishable from the native population. Today, debates about the skin color of ancient Egyptians often become heated. Some point to mummies of later dynasties that appear lighter-skinned, but many of those rulers were from foreign invasions. Hyksos, Libyans, Nubians, Assyrians, Persians, and Greeks. In the biblical era, particularly the time of Moses, the majority of Egyptians were African in origin. Their skin would have ranged from medium brown to very dark brown, shaped by centuries under the African sun and genetic ties to Cushite neighbors. In Jeremiah 13:23, the prophet uses the Ethiopian skin as an unchangeable trait, implying a cultural familiarity with darker complexions in that region of the world. Skin tone was just one aspect of who the Egyptians were. They were master builders, mathematicians, farmers, and artists. Life revolved around the Nile, the river that flooded predictably each year, leaving fertile soil for crops. The Egyptians wore linen clothing to keep cool, adorned themselves with gold jewelry, and painted their eyes with kohl, not just for beauty, but to protect against the sun's glare and desert flies. Their society was stratified, yet vibrant. Scribes, soldiers, craftsmen, priests, and farmers all contributed to the kingdom's glory. And at the very top stood the pharaoh. The pharaoh of Abraham's time, recorded in Genesis 12, welcomed Abram during a famine, showing Egypt's wealth and influence even early in biblical history. The pharaoh of Joseph, in Genesis 41, trusted a Hebrew foreigner to manage the nation during famine. This pharaoh was likely part of a native African dynasty, one that valued wisdom over ethnicity. The pharaoh of the Exodus, from Exodus chapters 5-14, is the most famous in biblical memory, the one who refused Moses' demands. Scholars debate his identity, with candidates including Ramses II or Merneptah, both powerful New Kingdom rulers. Then there was Taharka, the Cushite pharaoh mentioned in 2 Kings 19:9. He was a ruler from the 25th dynasty. Evidence that Nubian, deeply dark-skinned kings once ruled over Egypt in biblical times. These pharaohs, whether native Egyptian or Nubian, ruled over a land where skin tones varied, but African heritage was deeply rooted. And then there is the Sphinx. Standing guard over the Giza plateau for more than 4,500 years, The Sphinx remains one of history's greatest enigmas. The body of a lion, the head of a man, possibly Pharaoh Khafre. It may have symbolized strength, wisdom, and divine protection. Weathering patterns suggest it may be older than Egypt's Old Kingdom, hinting at an even deeper African past. Some scholars note the facial features of the Sphinx, broad nose, full lips, as consistent with African physiognomy, aligning with the complexion clues from art and biblical geography. Whether it was painted in vibrant colors or left in the golden hue of limestone, the Sphinx's gaze has watched over Egypt through kingdoms, conquests, and the pages of the Bible. Egypt was more than just a location. It was a place of refuge, testing, and deliverance. Abraham found shelter there. Joseph rose to power there. Israel was enslaved there. And even Jesus, as a child, was taken there to escape Herod's wrath, as Matthew 2:13-15 records. This African land, rich in culture and brown-skinned faces, played a key role in God's redemptive plan. The Egyptians of the Bible were not distant, pale figures from a far-off fairy tale. They were real people, African in origin, living under the heat of the same sun that warms the Nile today. Their monuments still stand, their names still echo, and their story is still woven into the greatest story ever told. When you next read the word Egypt in Scripture, see it for what it was: an African kingdom of brown and black faces, golden sands, and a legacy that has outlasted empires. This is the Egypt of the Bible, and its truth is more fascinating than any Hollywood image could ever portray. Subscribe to Bible Storybook, and God will bless you.